This is Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Hey guys! Welcome to Guild Solutions Inc. office. Come on in, let me tour you around.
Guild Solutions Inc. provides extended workforce outside of Australia, and we are located on the 12th floor of 1EU building on 3rd Avenue, corner 26th Street, Bonifacio Global City, Taguig City. Our office has a Filipino-Hispanic-inspired theme and an open concept design for better collaboration.
This is one of our favorite areas, the pantry.
We love to gather around this area while sharing stories and laughing with our colleagues while eating. We've got free snacks for everyone, tea, and of course, a coffee maker.
Who doesn't love coffee, right? And here's our gaming area.
Whenever we have free time or would like to have rest from working for a while, we love to sit here to play PS5 to engage with our coworkers or just watch some YouTube contents for those who are not into games.
Just beside the gaming area is our lactating room.
This is considered a wellness room as this is provided for our nursing mothers, which promotes the health of the mother and the baby through continued nursing. This room also contains our first aid kit for emergency.
And here's one of our meeting rooms.
This meeting room can be used for formal meetings and can accommodate small groups or up to 6 people.
Done with my meeting? Let's go to the production area.
Our office has an airy and bright space. Since we are currently on a hybrid setup, the employees can book their desired desk through our office desk booking system. They can freely choose where they would like to be seated. This improves better collaboration and productivity.
We also have play area for the kids too.
This area accommodates the children of our employees whenever they come to the office. They can play or sleep here. This space helps the mothers in GSI to still be productive while performing their mommy duties.
Just walk near the play area and you will see the sleeping pods.
The office has 2 sleeping pods for our employees who would like to rest or give their brains a break from working by having a quick nap. The sleeping pods are air-conditioned and has curtain for some privacy.
Finally, here's our boardroom, which is bigger than the other meeting room which I showed you earlier.
This room can be used for formal meetings and can accommodate up to 12 people. Aside from having a great office, we are in a great neighborhood as well, and literally steps away from coffee shops, convenience stores, restaurants, and malls. That's it for our tour. If you're interested to join the fun team, you can visit our website reflected on the screen. Hope to see you soon!
This year's GSI conference is brought to you by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, A4, and Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Trade along with video, easy trade to help you grow. Trade along with video, quick ready to show. Trade line with BDO. Market insights keep you in the know. Trade line with BDO. Make your trades on the go.
This is Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Hello and good day to all of you. To our viewers in Asia, good afternoon. And to our viewers in Australia and New Zealand, good evening. Welcome to Passionate at 8 GSI Conference 2025, presented by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, and A Perform. My name is Mark Del Moro, and I'll be your host for today. Yesterday, we were inspired and encouraged by the session by Ms. Montserrat Luna of World Vision Philippines, imparting with us the stories of communities that move us to extend help whenever we can. You can catch the previous episode of the GSI conference on YouTube. For more learning sessions, job opportunities, and news about the company, please follow us on our social media properties. With this year's theme, Passionate at 8, Innovate, Collaborate, Celebrate, and Elevate, will feature insightful talks on personal growth from speakers within and outside our organization. Today, we will speak with Karina Lozada, Digital Trading Sales Officer at BDO Securities. This webinar is made possible by Guild Solutions Inc. and GSI Media, along with our partners BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, and A Perform. For our viewers in the Philippines, we will be flashing information on your screens on how to request a certificate of attendance throughout this event. To avoid distractions and ensure maximum participation, the form will only be made active at certain times of this event. So please watch out for our announcements. We're seeing some activity on our social media. Let's greet some of the people. So let me now call on my co-host Sam Sutare, who is manning our social media for your greetings and questions. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, there are definitely some comments in the social media. So let's just go there and give them a shout out. Shout out to our currently 8 viewers and counting. I know they will be having a lot of learning from this session. Shout out to Joe Nolasco. He said, looking good, Mark. So it looks like you have a fun, Mark. And to Lindsay, shout out to you. It looks like an interesting topic. Definitely, it is an interesting topic. So hope you have some fun. Looking good, Sam. Wow. Hello, JP. Thanks for coming into this live stream, and I hope you also learned from it. I think that's it for now. But keep your greetings coming, everyone, and get your questions ready as well. Uh, because after the talk, we will have a chance to ask our resource person anything about the topic. So watch out for that. Mark?
Thank you, Sam. If you have any questions regarding the show or if you have any questions directly for our guest, don't forget to type them in. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We are now transitioning to the main show. You're watching GSI Conference 2025.
This year's GSI conference is brought to you by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, A Perform, and Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Good day again to all of you. I'm Mark, and welcome to GSI Conference 2025. In today's session, we are going to learn about investing. Do you know the feeling when you want to start something but you do not know how? If you're like me who always wanted to start investing but don't know how and have no time to learn it all, then this session is for you. Today, we're going to learn about the basics of investing. Let me now introduce our speaker. Our speaker for today has 9 years of experience in the financial industry as an investment advisor, handling retail investments, including equities, fixed income, trust funds, and foreign exchange. She is certified UITF sales personnel, a certified treasury professional, an SEC licensed equities and fixed income salesman, and a certified investment solicitor. She is currently part of the BDO Securities digital trading sales team, where she develops and implements sales strategies and activities. Now she has graced us with her time to share some practical tips on investing. Without further ado, please welcome Miss Karina Lozada. Hello, Karina.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Mark, for the awesome introduction. And I agree with the person who commented earlier, Jan Nolasco, you are looking good. So thanks for having us. So on behalf of myself, the BDO Securities team, and Sir Gingo of BDO Mandaluyong Fame Mall branch, thank you so much for having us. We're grateful to have for the opportunity to be part of the Guild Solutions virtual conference. So thanks for inviting us.
Thank you. Thank you, Karina, and thank you to your team as well for gracing us your time.
Okay.
Anyway, we are
Do we
thrilled to
go
have
ahead
you.
and
Yep, we are really thrilled to have you here and are eager to hear your insights on investing strategies and financial planning. Definitely, your expertise is invaluable, and we are all looking forward to an enriching and thought-provoking session. So let's dive right in, and make the most of this opportunity to learn from you. So yeah, now the floor is yours, Karina.
Thank you very much, Mark. Just checking if the presentation is already being shared. Ayan. Okay. All right. So the title of my presentation, as you can see on your screen, is The Starter Pack: Beginner's Guide to Investing. So the presentation is designed to introduce beginners or newcomers to the fundamentals of investing. The goal is, by the end of this session, we hope to equip you with the confidence and knowledge to make informed financial decisions, and of course, to start your investing journey. Now, next slide, please. Here's what we're going to cover for today. All right. So, what we will be talking about will be exploring the benefits of investing and why it's essential in today's financial world. We'll also walk through the steps to start investing smartly and safely. All right. We'll also wrap up with some practical tips to help you succeed on your investing journey. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first part of the session. Why should we invest? So, we should always start with our why, right? So, as Robert Kiyosaki puts it, financial freedom is available to those who learn about it and work hard for it, right? Though I can think of many reasons, no, why one should invest, let's just simplify and identify what we believe is the three most important ones. Next, please. There you go. So the first one is, of course, to make money. All right. So everyone here wants that. Next is to beat inflation. And finally, to secure long term financial stability. All right. So let's start with making money first. Okay, so first reason to invest is, of course, to grow our money. And how do we make money? So we earn from our efforts, whether through working for a company, like all of us here in this webinar, or through running a company or our own business. Of course, we have expenditures, right? So whatever surplus we have after the expenditures, we set it aside as savings, or we can choose to invest it. Now, remember, when we invest, we then earn from our investments. It's the same as making our money work for us. So, another quote from Robert Kiyosaki, right? So, it says here, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard it works for you. All right, so the more money we keep to invest, the closer we are to financial success. Next slide, please. Another reason why one should invest is, of course, to outpace inflation or to beat inflation. So there are questions, no? What is inflation anyway? Inflation is when the prices of goods and services go up over time, which means that your money buys less than what it used to. All right, so it reduces your money's value and the purchasing power of it over time. Okay, to illustrate how inflation affects our purchasing power, next slide, please. Let's take a look at what 100 pesos can buy you back in 2015. So, how far will your 100 pesos go? So, back in 2015, I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but for 38 pesos, you can already buy a kilo of rice. For 45 pesos, that's already a liter of gasoline. And for 15 pesos, that's already a can of sardines. So with just 100 pesos, no, I guess you'll have a full meal already, plus enough money to for transport. Okay, with a little surplus. All right. But today, 2025, a kilo of rice is now at 46 pesos and 30 centavos. Gasoline is already as high as 61. Actually, it's at 70 plus. I sometimes at 70. It can go as high as 70 plus. For sardines, it's at 20 pesos and 50 cents. So the 100 pesos is actually no longer enough or no longer sufficient to fit or to buy the same three items that we were able to buy with our 100 pesos back in 2015. So, simply put, same money, unfortunately, fewer things. All right. So that's the reason why we need to aim to earn more than the inflation rate, just so we could protect the purchasing power of our money and preserve it. Okay. Next slide. Ultimately, we invest to reach financial stability and freedom. And I'm sure everyone here wants that. Right? So having a strong financial foundation means being prepared for emergencies, retirement, or even pursuing dreams without stress about money. Right? Next slide. So how do we invest? So let's start. Okay. So let's talk about the how. Investing is actually a process, and here's a simple six-step approach that you can follow. All right. It's easy to remember. So the first one, and which is the most important one for me, is to know yourself. So you have to understand your goals, know your experience, and risk tolerance. Investing is actually personal. All right. So what's good for me might not be good for you, for Mark, or for Sam, right? So we have to understand, or we have to know ourselves before we actually start investing. Next is we pick a strategy that matches our profile as an investor. Next, we create an account with a trusted provider, and that's where B and BDO Securities and BDO Unibank will come in to help you. All right, create an account. Next is, of course, we do our homework. All right, so we need to educate ourselves and research before putting in our money in anything. Kasi hard-earned money niya yan. So we need to make sure that we really make well-informed decisions before we make any with our money. And finally, to reassess and rebalance our portfolio. So investing is just step one. You have to also monitor your investments and adjust it when needed. All right, so let's start with the first step, which is knowing ourselves. So step one is knowing yourself as an investor. Ask yourselves these questions. All right, so what are your goals? What works for you? So are you a short-term investor? Are you a long-term investor? So do I want to invest money for something that I want to spend 6 months from now? Or can it wait? Am I investing for my retirement, which will happen in around 10 years or 20 years from now? Right? So you have to identify that first, short-term ka ba, long-term ka ba? Can you be active, or you can't afford to be active, so you'll just be passively investing. When I say passive, that means that you invest your money and just let it stay there and not touch it for a while. All right. Next question is, how experienced are you? Are you just starting? Are you just a beginner? Or have you been in the market for a while now? Have you had like 3 years of experience in investing? Or are you already advanced? Right? Or have many years of experience down on your belt? Next question is, how much risk can you handle? Next, please. Sorry. Yes. How much risk can you tolerate, or how much risk can you handle? So this is a very important question, all right? And this is something that you have to be very honest about. So are you conservative, meaning you're very risk averse? The moment that the value of your investment, no, dips or goes down by just half of a percent, you're already panicking. All right. So you are ultra conservative at that point. All right. You have to know at what point, how much risk you're willing to tolerate or you're willing to handle. Okay, so you could be conservative, moderate, balanced, or aggressive. Now, the question is, how do we determine all of that? So, these investor types can actually be determined through a questionnaire that we call a suitability assessment. So, don't worry, guys. We can help you actually figure out where you fall. Okay, so we have a questionnaire that has a series of questions which will determine whether you are a conservative, moderate, balanced, or an aggressive investor. Right? And based on your assessment, you can now pick a strategy. Okay, so there are four common investor types that which I've mentioned earlier. Conservative investors, they prioritize capital preservation and have very low risk tolerance. So usually, yung mga conservative, these are the ones who have no experience at all or have the not much knowledge when it comes to investing. So since they don't know much, they don't want to like take a lot of risk, no? Or those who only want to put their money inside the bank, right? Or for those who are already nearing their retirement age and who would want to have a stable investment portfolio. All right. Moderate naman can accept some level of risk for some modest growth. Balance aims for both income and capital appreciation with around medium risk. On the other hand, aggressive investors are willing to take high risks for potentially higher returns. So, where do you think you fall on this spectrum? So, without answering that questionnaire, can you try and guess where you fall? Right, based on the descriptions that I've mentioned. Now, let's explore the different investment options that are available, all right, here in BDO based on the risk return trade off. So, on this graph, investments like banking or savings offer low returns, all right, with low risk, so that they're at the very bottom, all right. So, it's upward sloping. So the higher you go towards the right, all right, the more risk you actually take. But please bear in mind, the more risk you take, the more potential for higher returns you actually get. All right, so this is actually giving you an idea already, of where each investment falls in terms of risk reward. Okay, so at the very bottom, we have banks or savings. Next in line, we have bonds. So don't worry, we will discuss each investment later for those who are not familiar with them. So this is just to give you at least a picture, of where they are in terms of risk and reward. Of course, if you stay sa bank lang or savings, you are able to manage your risk well, but the returns will not be so much. All right, so there's actually risk there as well. No, the risk there is that the money that you'll be getting or the earnings that you will have will not be enough to achieve your goals. All right, so there's that risk. Please bear in mind that we have that as well. Okay, so once you've identified your investor profile, you can begin constructing a portfolio that suits your risk level. All right, so next slide, please. All right, sige. So later on, during the presentation, you will see that we will center most of the discussion on the two that you see here that are enclosed inside the box of bonds and stocks. All right, so we will explain further, what these two investments are. Okay, next slide, please. All right. Aside from direct investing into these instruments that you see here on this page, there's also a way to indirectly invest in them, and that's through mutual funds or UITFs, which will also be discussed later on or as we move further along the discussion. Next slide. All right. So we can then we can construct a portfolio that will suit our level of risk. All right. So for conservative investors, we can focus entirely on fixed income. All right. Like bonds or savings. Okay. So they're low risk. All right. We can put 100% on that. While on the far end naman, aggressive investors might have a portfolio which is more equities or more high risk instruments like stocks or equities, no, or real estate investment. All right. So the more aggressive you become, the higher exposure you have to instruments that have higher risk. Okay. So the goal is to balance the risk and return in a way that meets your financial objectives. So this is just an illustration of how you can actually manage your portfolio. It's a recommendation of what you can actually how you can allocate, the asset classes inside your portfolio based on your investor profile. So next step, now that we know all of that, the next step is we have to know actually where we can access all of this. You need to open an account with the right financial institution. So for example, si savings can be managed through banks or e-wallets. Okay, that's where you can access them. Bonds naman are typically purchased through banks or brokers. Stocks require access to trading platforms via brokers, which includes BDO securities. Right? Real estate involves a different process entirely, so usually through realtors or developers. All right? Just make sure that you're dealing with authorized trading participants to ensure that your investment is secure. Next slide, please. All right, so let's just do our homework. Let's try to familiarize ourselves with the following investment or securities, all right, that we've mentioned earlier. So with savings, I'm sure everyone is so familiar with this, and I'm sure everyone has this. All right, so this what you're seeing on your screen right now is the typical requirements that we have for savings and time deposits. All right, which includes the minimum requirements and also the return that you can actually get from them. Now, why do we earn interest whenever we put our money in the bank or whenever we save? Right? So technically, when you save your money and you put it inside the bank, you're actually lending the bank money. And there's a cost for borrowing, which is interest. That's what you get in return. But take note, given that since your money is inside a savings account, it's highly liquid, meaning if I need my money later, I can actually get it. I just need to go to an ATM machine. All right. There are other securities that are not as liquid. There are other securities that I still need to wait for it to mature because before I can actually get the actual cash. All right. So, but for savings, of course, it's not. That's not the case, right? It's easily accessible and it's highly liquid. So the risk is actually pretty low here. Thus, as you can see on your screen, the gross interest rate per annum is only at 0.0625%. All right. So you're still earning partly for having your money inside a savings account, but it does provide for your liquidity needs and cash flow for you. Okay. So, of course, banks can offer flexible terms or higher interest rates for longer duration or higher deposit amounts. So, you can actually inquire if you're a conservative investor, you identify as a conservative investor and you're really interested no to put money inside the bank or to invest in a savings account or other deposit products. I do encourage everyone to get in touch with our referring branch, BDO Mandaluyong Fame branch. Sir Gingo and team will be more than happy to assist you. All right. Other than savings or bank accounts, we can also source this through e-wallets. That's on the next screen. There you go. So with e-wallets naman, if you notice, no, the rates are actually quite higher as compared to what we have in the traditional bank. For the reason that the requirements naman for e-wallets or digital wallets are actually different. So the requirements are set by the Bangko Sentral of Pilipinas, who is the regulating body for both banks and e-wallets or digital wallets. All right. So this is also something that you can consider. All right. So there are pros and cons for investing or for putting your money in either. All right. So I suggest that you do your homework. All right, and compare each and see what works best for you. All right. Next slide. All right. So we're now going to talk about bonds. So you saw this earlier. So the risk here is a little bit higher compared to savings. And of course, the return will be the same. All right. So you can actually earn a return that's higher than what you can get from a regular savings account or a time deposit. Okay, so what are bonds? Bonds are essentially a loan, right? So you basically, it's similar to what you do when you put your money in a savings account. That's actually what you're doing when you invest in a bond. You are actually lending money, all right, to the government or to a corporation. And in return, of course, they promise to pay you back interest at regular intervals. All right. And of course, repay the face value of the bond at maturity. So you do get your money back after a certain period. Parang nagpapautang ka nga talaga. All right. So you earn from bonds in two ways. One is through interest income, all right, or coupons, which is paid out to you, usually semi-annually, quarterly, or annually. And capital gains kasi although it has a maturity, you can choose naman to sell it to someone else at a price that you want. It could be higher, it could be lower. All right. If it's higher than how much you were able to buy it, that's capital gains for you. You get capital gains out of that. Right. To illustrate, bonds are actually considered safer than stocks. All right, because remember earlier in the risk reward trade off, in the risk reward chart, bonds is actually before stocks. All right, it's considered safer than stocks. It's usually popular with conservative and moderate investors. So if you identify as a moderate investor as well, this can be part of your portfolio too. All right. So to illustrate lang, just so everyone appreciates no how you earn through bonds. This is actually an example of one. So SM Prime Holdings issued a bond. So SM Prime Holdings is actually borrowing money from investors. The security has a maturity or tenure of 3 years. That means if you invest your money here, you will not be able to get your money back within that particular period. You will only get it after 3 years. And then they promise to pay you an interest or a coupon rate of 5% per annum. So that's annually. All right. And the payment date is semi annual, so every 6 months. So, how do we compute how much we're going to earn out of this? Next, please. So, for example, we invested around 100,000 pesos in this SMPH bond. All right, at 5%. So it's subject to a withholding tax of 20%. All right. Yes. Sorry. Yes. So, how much you'll be getting out of it? That's only around 4,500 pesos. All right. So, how much is that semi-annually? That's around 2,250. Right. You get that twice a year. So, how do we? So we can picture out the cash flow. I actually have this illustration for you. So, on day one, you lent your money to SMPH 100,000 pesos. After 6 months, you get 2,250 pesos. On the first year, you get another 2,250 pesos. 6 months after, another 2,250 pesos, so on and so forth until you reach the maturity on the third year. All right, so you receive the final coupon back of 2,250, and not just that, you get your full 100,000 pesos back. So you get the picture. This is actually how you earn from bonds. So it's pretty simple, right? So it can either be a company or the government. Right? So aside from the taxes no, that we pay them, sometimes the government also needs funding and they do issue out bonds also, or other fixed income instruments to raise capital. All right, next we're gonna move on to stocks. All right, so this is actually one of my favorite topics, or one of my favorite instruments for that matter. So, what are stocks? For those who are not familiar, when you buy a stock, you're actually purchasing a share in a company. So, for those who want to be a businessman or want to be an entrepreneur, but don't have the capital to have one or to make one, right? You can start off by investing in stocks because it's mostly the same. And yeah, similar to being a business owner, you're basically a part owner of a company whenever you buy a stock or a share. Right? This means that you benefit from the company if the company does well, all right? But you also take on risk if it doesn't, if the company doesn't perform well. All right? So that's how businesses go, right? Okay, so businesses can list, all right, from private, they become public through an IPO. So you as an investor, you can actually buy a stock from them, and then if you want to sell it to another buyer, you can do it in the secondary market at the price that you want. Right. So how do you earn from stocks? Next slide, please. All right. You earn through dividends and capital appreciation. So capital appreciation is when the price of the stock increases and you sell it at a profit. While dividends naman, given that you are a part owner, you get a portion or a share of the company's profits. All right, when they share it with their shareholders. Okay, it can be most of the time it's in the form of cash. Okay. So stocks carry more risk than bonds. Um, if you remember um, the risk reward chart earlier, right? It's higher in terms of return and higher in terms of risk also. All right, making them suitable for balanced to aggressive investors. Okay, next let's talk about the different types of stocks that you can actually trade. So when you start trading in the stock market, these are the type of stocks that you'll be able to see or you'll have access to if you have an account with a broker. Next, please. All right, so we have common stocks. So common stocks are the most traded, right? They're widely traded type. When you buy common stocks, you get voting rights in shareholder meetings, all right, and the potential to earn dividends. The value of the common stocks can rise or fall depending on the company's performance, right? You can receive dividends sometimes, yes, sometimes not. There are companies, though, there are common stocks, though, that are really known to provide regular dividends. And later, I'll show you how you can actually access those stocks or know what those stocks are. Okay, next, please. We have the preferred stocks. Okay, so preferred stockholders don't usually have voting rights, but they do have a higher claim on dividends, right, and assets in case the company goes bankrupt. Right, so if the company doesn't go well or do well, all right, they have higher priority, all right, they get paid back before the rest of the common shareholders. So I guess that's a good thing. Dividends are typically fixed and paid out before those of common shareholders. They have priority in terms of receiving dividends, right? And usually the dividends given are fixed, okay, making them a good mix between bonds and common stocks. Okay, so it's similar to a bond. Okay, it's just that the price can actually fluctuate faster though or more compared to bonds. Okay, next. And usually preferred shares don't have maturity dates. All right. And finally, we have REITs. So REITs stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. So while this is not a traditional stock, REITs are traded like them on exchanges. Okay. They allow you to invest in real estate without owning property. All right. So for those who really want to own real estate or invest in real estate but don't have the capital to do it, you can actually start with REITs first. Okay. Because it's the same as owning a property. So think of buying a stock of a company that has a portfolio of real estate, right? Or portfolio of buildings that's earning rental income. So you get a share of out of those rental incomes through REITs. All right. REITs often pay high dividends because they're required to distribute at least 90% of their income to dividends as dividends to shareholders. Okay. So this is actually a good option for you if you want something that provides regular cash flow. All right. So choosing the right type of stock depends on your financial goals and risk tolerance. Remember that. Okay. So here on the next page is just an example no, of a preferred stock. So this one was issued last year, October 15, 2024. It's from Ayala Corporation. It's called Ayala Corporation Reissuance of Class B Preferred Shares. So pretty long name, ACPB3. The offer price during that time was at 2,000 pesos. I actually checked earlier the currently in the market, no, its value market value is also at 2,000 pesos, but sometimes I see it go higher than 2,000. Okay, the dividend rate is fixed at 6%, 6.0538% per annum, and they usually pay out dividends quarterly. So what you see on the right side is just a list. So we get this from PSE Edge. It's a website managed by the Philippine Stock Exchange. Okay, so this is where companies usually post information on dividends that they give out to their shareholders. So here, as you can see, their dividends was given last March, all right, and last January. Sorry, it's just not in order. Okay, last January and last March. Okay, so quarterly kasi siya as mentioned earlier. All right, next slide. All right, so this is just an example of a REIT. It's a Citicore Renewable, Citicore Energy REIT, all right, or C-REIT. Citicore REIT is what we call it. It's the first renewable energy REIT. So how the business model is, it's a portfolio of different power plants, all right? So the income that they earn from leasing those power plants, that's how they earn, all right? And that's what they share to shareholders. If you're an owner of a C-REIT share or C-REIT stock, you get a part or you get a share out of the earnings that they get from those power plants that they lease out. Okay? So what you see on the right side is just a list of the dividends that this particular stock has been paying out to its shareholders. Okay, so you can see may dividend rate siya. There's also an ex-dividend rate, a date, record date, and payment date. So if you're just buying the stock right now, so let's see. All right, today is already April 24, so kakalagpas lang. So yesterday was the ex-dividend date for Siri. all right, for its one of its dividends. So if you were able to buy if you were able to buy C-REIT stocks last April 22, you held it until April 23, you will be eligible to receive dividends from C-REIT. All right, and the payment date is on June 21. So that's basically what it means. All right, just to give you an idea. All right, so this is just an example of a REIT for your appreciation. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. All right. So if you're not quite ready to invest directly, no, in those individual stocks or to go for bonds, because sometimes the minimum requirement is quite high. Most of them, if it's not 50,000, 100,000, some can go as high as 1 million or 5 million. Depends on the issuer. Okay, usually government bonds are the ones that are affordable. For RTBs, it's usually a price at 5,000 minimum. Okay, but most of the time it's pretty high in terms of of initial investment requirement. Okay, so if you're not ready to go direct investing into stocks or bonds, you can also consider mutual funds and UITFs. They're great alternatives. So these are pooled funds. We call them pooled funds. They base what this how this actually works is they basically pool the money of all the investors. All right, it's managed by a fund manager. The fund manager, the professional fund manager who's managing the fund, will then invest the money from that they were able to pull from different investors into securities based on the strategy and goal of that fund. And the return that they generate through these securities will be given back to the investors. And how you'll feel it through the increase in value of the price per share or unit that you own of this particular investment. Okay. So okay, mutual funds and UITFs are similar, mostly in structure. All right, so it's managed by mutual funds are managed by investment companies. You buy shares in the fund, while UITFs are usually offered by banks or trust companies. You buy units in the fund. Okay, so both options let you gain exposure to markets without having to choose individual investments yourselves. So what's good about this? The pros of investing in mutual funds and UITFs is that you have a professional fund manager to do the managing for you, to do the investing decision for you. Right? So you don't have to do it, you just invest your money and let them do all the thinking, let them do all the managing of the fund. Right? You're instantly diversified in terms of your portfolio, all right? Because it's a basket of investments. Your money is spread across many investments, all right, reducing the risk. Okay. Another is accessibility. Usually, the minimum investment here can go as low as 1,000 pesos. With GCash, I think for as low as 50 pesos, you can already invest in a UITF or a mutual fund. All right. And it's also very convenient when you invest here because you don't have to monitor the market constantly. It's the job of the fund managers to do that and not you. All right. So you simply invest here and let it stay there. Now there's also, of course, if there are benefits to it, of course there will also be risks to it. All right. One of them, you have less control. You don't get to choose the specific assets where you want to invest in. So if you miss out on opportunity to gain on a particular stock, you don't have because you won't have the option to select the type of securities that your fund manager can invest in because they will do that for you. Okay, so the performance varies. The returns depend on the fund manager's strategy and the market movement. Right, and of course there are fees. Okay, so the fees will depend on the fund and how difficult it is to manage. So if you're going to invest in mutual funds and UITFs, it's ideal that you actually read through all the prospectus, all right, the fund fact sheets and the declaration of trust for each one. Right? It's ideal for beginners looking for a simpler way to grow their money with lower involvement. So you can start with this. As you gain more confidence, you can explore direct investing after. And mutual funds and UITFs are actually available through BDO securities as well, not just direct stocks. Okay, next slide. All right. So now that we know, no, we familiarize ourselves with savings, bonds, and stocks. What do we need to do next? So of course, we need to open an account because we won't be able to invest without one. All right. So with BDO Securities naman, it's actually very easy to use. All right. It's actually made for DIY investors. So we will not you will be the one to actually create an account on your end, but don't worry, there won't be any documentary requirements. All right. um, you can actually open one, but just make sure that you have an active BDO account and you have an active BDO online banking account. So if your payroll is with BDO, I'm sure you also have access to our BDO online system. If you're able to view your savings account or your payroll directly through the BDO online, through your BDO online account, then you can easily open a BDO securities account. You simply have to visit our website, which is seen on your screen, all right, and click on sign up, and you'll be able to avail of our services and access you can access stocks as well as mutual funds and new ITFs. All right, next slide. All right, so if you're going to sign up, please don't forget to select Mandaluyong Fay Mall branch or branch 1349 as your referring branch, all right, when you sign up. So this will be asked from you during the enrollment process. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so learning does not stop after today. If you're really serious about becoming a confident investor, BDO Securities offers a wide range of free educational materials that you can explore anytime. All right, so here's what you can access through our website. We have tutorial videos. All right, we have step-by-step guides on how you can navigate our trading platform, place your orders, and how to manage your portfolio. We have webinars. We do this on a regular basis. Actually, for next month, we have tutorial series on technical analysis. So if you're interested, feel free to check out our website and register because it's free. Okay. We also have beginner-friendly articles covering investment basics, common terms, market tips, and of course reports that provides investing and trade ideas. So whether you're a beginner or you're looking to sharpen your skills, you've been in the market for some time, these resources are here to support your journey, and they're all free resources here in BDO Securities. You simply have to sign up. Okay, next slide. All right, so this is just a picture of the tutorial videos that I mentioned earlier. You'll see this on our website. Please visit our website using the URL that you see at the bottom of the page. Next slide. Okay, and so those are the tutorial videos that we mentioned earlier and articles as well to help guide you in your stock trading journey. Next slide. Now, once you have an account with BDO Securities, you will have access to the following reports. Okay, these reports are actually they're very valuable if you really want to invest in the stock market. No, this will provide you all the information that you actually need. So the daily digest, the first one, it's a quick morning update on key market news and stock picks to watch. So it's released daily, right, just to give you guidance on what's currently happening in the market, because of course there's a lot of news every day. So if you want to filter the ones that really matter and the ones that might affect your stocks, the ones that are currently in your portfolio, daily digest is a useful tool for that. All right, and next we have the weekly wrap, which is a summary of the week's market performance and insights on what to expect next. We also have technically speaking and trade recap. So these are based on technical analysis, and we provide short-term trade ideas using this. So these are tools designed to guide you, and not just in what's happening, no, but what it means for your portfolio. All right. So BDO Securities not just gives you the platform, but we also provide you with the guidance on how you can actually invest in the stock market. Okay. So just to show you what we currently have or how you can use the weekly wrap or how you can appreciate it better. Next slide, please. So I'll just be highlighting the weekly wrap, which is what I think can offer you value when you have a BDO Securities account. All right, so what you're currently seeing on your screen, it's part of the weekly wrap. We call it the stock coverage section. So I'm sure you're familiar with some of the names that you see on your screen. You have BDO Unibank, TPI, Metrobank, Aboitiz Equity, GT Capital, JG Summit, San Miguel Corporation. So these are the names of the companies or the stocks that our research team actively monitors on a regular basis. All right, so what's highlighted currently on your screen, next, please. It will basically provide you with information if, sorry, can you click on next, please? Yan. It will answer the question. Sorry, can you go back a bit? Yeah, it will answer the question, is the company rating still okay? So the rating, all right, it's buy, hold, or neutral. It's based on the latest earnings and business outlook. So it's pretty straightforward. If the rating is buy, that means that the recommendation is buy. All right, that means that the potential for growth is actually there for this particular stock. Okay. And then we also provide, it's not highlighted, we also provide a target price or a price where our analyst believes that the stock could be worth in a year. All right. And the potential upside downside, which is on the far right. Can you click next, please? Just so we can highlight that part of the presentation also. There you go. So that's the upside downside potential column. So it's a percentage estimate comparing the stock's target price to where it is currently in the market. All right. So does the company still have an upside? So how you use this? If I invest in security bank, how much do I still stand to gain? So as you can see there, it's 60%. So that's basically what it is, what it's for. Next slide. Next, please. Yeah. So there are also parts of this particular report that provides us with fundamental indicators. All right. So we don't compute that. You don't have to compute that because our analysts will do that for you. So we provide you already the figures here. We have a tutorial on how you can actually use this if you're interested. All right. But it basically gives us an answer. You know, if the company is still growing, the figures will show that. Next, please. Is it still profitable? Is the company still profitable? Of course, when we invest in something, we want to invest in something that's still growing and something that can still provide us with profit. Next slide, please. Sorry, next, please. Oh, okay. Can you go back a bit? Sorry. I guess it didn't come out. There you go. Can it give an attractive dividend pay? So for those who want to invest passively because you're busy with work, don't have the time to monitor. If you want to invest and get something out of it, or passive income, you want to look for companies or stocks that provide attractive dividend pay. So the last column there will actually provide that information, right? It tells you the potential dividend that you can actually get. So as you can see, this is just an example. This is not an updated report. It's just for your appreciation. For this particular report or this example, Metro Bank is giving 6.8% for its dividend yield. So that's actually equal. Um, it's a good investment that you can have in your portfolio if you're looking for dividends. Okay, next slide. All right, next we have technically speaking, this is based on technical analysis. All right, so as you can see there, it provides a chart of stocks or the PSEI or the Philippine Stock Exchange Index just to tell us where the market is heading. Next, please. All right, so it basically gives us an overall picture. Where is the market headed? Is it going up? Is the trend up or is the trend down? Okay, next slide. Next, please. There you go. It provides us the general trend of the market, whether it's going up or where it's going down. Next slide. And are there trading opportunities? I guess that's the most important question. So what about this information? What we really want to know is there trading opportunities for me? All right. So that's basically what this report is for. Next slide. What's good about this particular report is that it's very detailed. Right? It provides specific entry points and exit points for you. So next slide. There you go. Can you click on next, please, just so I can see all the prompts for everyone's appreciation. Thank you. So what's good about this particular report? Technically speaking, is more of the study of the price movement, historical price movement of the stock. Okay, so it doesn't look at the fundamentals. It just basically looks at the movement of the price. Okay, so there are certain patterns there. That's basically what we're trying to see. All right, and if there's any potential for a trade idea. Right. So what's good about this particular report is that it provides you specific entry level. So what price should I buy? So for this example, this is for Globe. This is an old issue. Okay, this is just an example of what you can expect to see if you have access to technically speaking. It tells you at what level you should enter or the buy price, and at what level it can go up to. All right, or your exit point or exit level. If it does go up as expected, then you can exit it, or you can actually lighten your portfolio or sell this stock at that particular price, the target price. If it does not move according to our expectation, if it goes down instead because of a market news that can affect that particular stock, because that does happen, all right. We also provide what we call a stop loss level, so that if it does go down, we can actually limit the loss that we can incur from this particular trade idea. Okay, so we actually show all of that here. Okay, next slide. All right. So now that we've talked about all of that, so we can actually, this is actually the last part of my presentation. Okay. So I hope you were able to get a lot of information from that. It's quite short. I wish we have more time to discuss more, no? But let me just end with some takeaways to guide you in your investing journey. So find a strategy that works for you. Okay, so not every approach fits everyone. Align your strategy with your goals, your timeline, and of course, comfort with risk. Okay, understand risks and diversify. Okay, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments across different asset types. Next is have realistic expectations. So investing is not a get rich quick scheme. Please don't fall for that. Right? You have to stay patient and you have to be consistent. You have to have a game plan and you have to execute it. Okay, and you always have to have a curious mind. Keep learning. The more you know, the better you are in making decisions. And of course, take advantage of available resources. All right, so use the tools, insights, and education provided by BDO Securities to your full advantage. All right, so every great investor starts with one decision, and that's to begin. You don't need to be an expert today. You just need to take the first step and grow from there. Right, so with the right mindset, tools, and support, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Okay, so start your investment journey today with BDO Securities so that your future self can thank you. That's it for today's presentation. We can now move on to Q&A.
That was a very insightful talk, Karina. Indeed, there is a lot of learning from this session. I'm sure our audience has a lot of questions they want to ask you, but before we go into our Q&A, we'll just take a quick break.
Sure.
So to our
Yeah.
viewers, please hold on to your questions. So you're watching GSI conference. We'll be right back after this break.
How do we protect our community? Through smiles, comforting words, and doing our best so that you know we've got your back. We're people first and take pride in what we do when helping you. But we can't do that without making sure our policies suit your profession. That's why we work hand in hand with your association, and it's through the insights gained from this partnership that our policies are built on. When you need us, we're able to help you, genuinely knowing your policy includes things like reinstatement plus cover for business insurance and run-off cover for professional indemnity insurance. Because it's the small differences that make sure we can help in big ways. If you're wondering how Guild Insurance can help you, reach out and get in touch. We'd love to welcome you to our family.
Trade a line with BDO. Easy trade to help you grow. Trade a line with BDO. Quick view statements ready to show. Trade a line with BDO. Market insights keep you in the know. Trade a line with BDO. Make your trades on the go.
We all know what community is, but what does community feel like? It's the feeling you get watching the magpie family in your front yard patiently wait for you to bring them a snack. It's the feeling you get watching the kangaroos huddle together in the afternoon haze under the tree in your backyard. And it's the feeling you get seeing the flock of galahs swinging and playing on the telephone wire. But community is much more than a feeling. It's the way us Australians work together, through thick and thin. Being a community means being Australian. At Guild, we're here for some of your toughest days. We're here through the fires and then through the floods. We're here through the break-ins, the accidents and the mishaps. We're more than just an insurance company. We're the people you call when it's all gone wrong. You're part of our community, our family. and we look forward to protecting you not only now, but into the future. Guild Insurance, where community is what matters most. How do we protect our community?
This year's GSI conference is brought to you by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, A-Perform, and Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Trade line with video. Easy trade to help you grow. Trade line with video. Quick view statements ready to show. Trade line with video. Market insights keep you in the know. Trade line with video. Make your trades on the go.
This is Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
We're back in Passionate at 8 GSI Conference 2025, presented by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, and A-Perform. We gained valuable insights from Karina as she shared various investment strategies and steps. It's crucial to emphasize the importance of understanding our own investor profile and identifying the types of investments, whether it's stocks, bonds, savings, real estate, and business, that aligns with it. Additionally, when investing, it is essential to conduct our due diligence to fully understand the different investment types. Now, our request portal is now open for our viewers in the Philippines who would like to request to a certificate of attendance. Just go to bit.ly/ GSI Conference 25 and enter the information requested in the form. Just some important reminders to our viewers in filling out the form. Please make sure to provide your correct full name and email address. And please make sure to provide the correct answers to the questions indicated. Incorrect answers will be considered invalid. We now turn to Sam, who has been attentively reviewing our comment section to identify any questions from our audience for BDO Securities Digital Trading Sales Officers Karina Lozada and JP Palma. Sam, how is it going there?
Yeah, we have some questions in the comments actually. Um, I think we can just dive right into it. So the first question is from Ayla Noel Supnet. Question is, can my investor type change over time?
Yes, sorry, let me go ahead and answer that. That's actually a great question. So yes, your investor type can change over time. Actually, as you go along your life stage, no. So we have different life stages, right? And we have different needs per life stage. So your investor type actually changes over time. So most people start with conservative first, but there are actually other people who starts with aggressive. Who are actually moderate already or aggressive and then become conservative over time. Kasi again, those investor types is basically just a summation of all the questions that we asked earlier. Remember the questions that we asked: what are your goals? What's your time horizon? Your experience. Okay, so of course, your answer to all of those questions will change over time. Thus, the your investor profile will also change over time. I hope that answers your question.
Great. Our next question is from JP Santos. He is asking, while investing, will you offer a more comprehensive strategies based on my need and financial background?
Okay, so investing strategies would depend on the securities that are actually available on our end. So the investment strategies is actually open to everyone. It's not it's not custom fitted to the to the investor that to an individual investor. So each strategy that we actually have on our content is actually for different types of investor naman. If you can relate to one investor type or identify in one investor type, then you can actually um, try out the strategy that is provided for that investor type.
Great. Um, Next question is, how can your personal values influence the way you invest, and should they?
Okay, that's actually a great question. Your personal values can influence the way you invest with the type of securities that you want to get into. So, for example, if your values, in if your values say that you don't want to invest in gambling, or you don't want to be involved in any gambling companies, then you can limit your portfolio to stocks that that have no uh, that are not part of the gambling industry or gambling sector. So it will
Right.
actually shape the type of your preference when it comes to the investment securities or investment instruments that you'll be investing in. And
Right.
JP, feel free to chime in if you want.
Yeah, sure. For me naman, siguro what I can share is I actually agree with Karina because on my case naman, siguro if you are familiar with or if you're more interested to different businesses involved, for example, in the food sector, such as Jollibee or the Shakey's brand, if you are more interested into those companies aside from the other companies that are listed on the exchange, maybe you can also invest into those companies and at least you can already see the growth of the company itself by all the time that they are opening different branches into not just locally but also internationally. At least you can already see the growth of the company itself on where your money is already invested in.
You can also invest based on your advocacy. So if you're pro environment and would like to support the efforts that the government has or different private companies have in preserving the environment, then you might want to invest more into renewable energy. So those are the options that are available for you. And I think each type of investor, each type of preference, there's an instrument for everyone. So the question earlier that we asked, no, know yourself first, right? So that's very important so that you'll know actually your strategy when it comes to investing.
Great. I think this would be our last question from the audience. I can't read their name, but the question is a very good one. What's an effective way to grow my savings as a working student?
That's actually a great question. Okay, so part of my presentation earlier mentioned no that of course when we earn money or when we have money, it's only the surplus that goes to our savings, right? And of course, it's not all the time that we can afford to put our savings to investments. Kasi syempre, the savings will also serve a purpose, right? So it's very important. Before you even invest, you have to make sure that you have enough savings to tide you through. Because investments, if you guys remember through our discussion earlier, every investment entails risk. Okay, so if it's money that you cannot afford the risk, then don't put it in any investments. You have to put it in your savings first. So you start small, even if it's just less than 100 pesos, all right? As long as you're able to practice setting aside a part of money that you were able to earn, all right? You can adjust your expenditures accordingly. Maybe you might need to have a lifestyle change depending on your goal. Because if you have limited resources and you have limited income, then you have to adjust the variables accordingly, right? So you can lessen your subscriptions, lessen going out, eating out, and putting more in savings. Para when you have more than enough for savings, then you can afford to put some in investing. So I hope that answers the question, and I hope that helps.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I think that's it for all the questions from the audience. So, Mark?
Yep. I have a question, um,
Go
Karina.
ahead.
So when investing, let's say when we speak of UITF, so are there any specific time or investment duration related to UITF investments?
That's a great question. UITF is actually very broad kasi remember the investment vehicles or the instruments that I showed you earlier. So we have savings or money market actually is part of
Mhm.
that. Bonds, stocks. All right. So UITFs or mutual funds actually have there are actually mutual funds for money market, meaning the underlying securities are similar to savings, right? So their behavior or the way that particular fund grows is similar to how a savings account would grow, right? So steady lang, gradual and steady. And there are
Mhm.
also mutual funds or UITFs that are invested in bonds. There are some that are investment in stocks. All right. So it depends basically. So once you answer all those questions that were asked earlier and you're able to determine, no, or find out what investor profile you have, then you can actually use that in your strategy. So if you come out to be a balanced investor, meaning you're okay to put in this amount of risk as long as the returns are commensurate. So you can do 50-50, 40-60. You can put 60% into a bond fund and 40% into an equity fund. So that's the recommendation based on your investor profile. So it's really
Mhm.
important that you go through that assessment first. Now, once you find out what investor profile you have, then we can follow the recommended split or asset allocation that we shared earlier for your portfolio.
All right. Thank you so much, Karina. I think that's all our questions for today. And we apologize for those questions unanswered, but we do hope that you learned a lot from this session. So, Karina and JP, it has been a pleasure having you on this show. Hope you enjoy your time with us as much as we love having you here. So, we learned a lot from this session.
We did. We had a great time. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for having me.
thanks to all of you for joining us today. Again, you can request a certificate of attendance by going to bit.ly/GSI Conference 25. So, this webinar is brought to you by BDO Securities, World Vision Philippines, and A Perform. Also, you can let us know how this webinar has been helpful to you. Please go to bit.ly/BDO-GSI. Your feedback is very important to us. And that's it. On behalf of our team, our executive producer and creative director, Jal Nolasco, our technical director, Lindsay Gokong, and my co-host, Sam Sutare, my name is Mark, and this is GSI Media. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.